Plaintiff Danielle Mann says the defendant is dating her ex-boyfriend, and she confessed to Danielle that she was trapped in an abusive relationship with this man. Danielle claims she got the defendant a car to escape the abuse, but now she refuses to pay for it. Defendant Ashley Kunas says she's been with Danielle's ex for 3 years and he has never laid a finger on her. Ashley claims Danielle is just angry because she refused to testify against her boyfriend in their custody battle, and she denies owing Danielle for anything.
Start with you.
Well, Your Honor, Ashley and I had dated the same guy. As I've seen on your show, you referred to it as wife-in-laws.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Well, as wife-in-laws, we confide in each other quite often, you know, mainly about kids, concerns, anything to do with that. Ashley had expressed a concern to me that she was, you know, trapped in a relationship that was, you know, in the same guidelines that I had been through. It was abusive.
Excuse me? Abusive? I've been with a dude for 3 years, and he hasn't laid a finger on me, Danny.
That's why you called me asking me for a card to get out of it.
First off, I'm not the one who called you. Junior called you, so nice try on that one, hun. I didn't call you. I didn't know I was getting a card.
The only way she repaid me was basically by stabbing me in the back.
You all were dating the same guy?
I had a baby with him 2 or 3 years.
And then she was dating him at the same time?
No.
Oh, afterwards?
Yes.
Gotcha. And she began calling you, you say, regarding this same guy abusing her? Mm-hmm. All right, and then what?
Well, she, like I said, she kind of came running to me, asking me for a car. She had no job, had no money, had nothing established for herself.
All right, so before we get to the car that you're suing her about, let me allow her to give some background. Ma'am?
Well, first off, Your Honor, I'm here only because of the fact that she's mad that I didn't testify against my boyfriend for their custody battle.
It has nothing to do with my custody battle, as I've been saying forever. It's a car. It's money.
You contacted me.
Go ahead, ma'am. Tell me.
Okay.
She contacted you.
Yeah, she contacted me to see if I would testify against him in their custody battle. And I straight up told her that I wasn't going to do it because if I was going to do it, I was going to be honest. I was going to let the judge know she's a drug dealer. I mean, I watched her sell 3 ounces in front of me. I mean, come on.
3 ounces of what?
Weed. Like, and then she wants to see, make it out like she's a perfect mom.
Who keeps asking for weed.
Come on, seriously. Me and Junior broke up.
You sell weed, ma'am?
No.
Kush, hydro? Know a lot of people.
All right.
Go ahead.
Okay, well, she got mad at me because I told her no, that I was going to be honest. If I got subpoenaed to court, I was going to tell the judge the truth. Well,
that she sold you weed.
Well, it didn't sell me.
She gave it to you free.
Didn't you ask me that?
She sold it in front of me.
Go ahead.
No. And then after that happened, and I told her no, that's when she demanded $2,000 when I have a bill of sale that states it's for $1,000.
Let me get to her on the car. You tell me what happened on the car that you're suing her about.
So in May, she came to me, said, you know, I need out of this relationship. I don't have a dime to my name. Nobody trusts me. No wonder why. And
funny.
So I just had a car. I was in the process of selling it anyway. Well, if she's going to sit here and, you know, they're going to go back and forth with domestic assaults, get her a car, get her out of there. She needs a job. She needs to go to school. So what? I got her a car. I helped her out. Yes, I wrote the bill of sale for cheaper because she can't afford anything.
What did you write the bill of sale for?
She has the paperwork.
You have the bill of sale?
Yes,
Let's see it. And this says it was written for $1,000. Go ahead.
Like I said, I had tried to help this girl out as much as I possibly could.
How much has she paid you?
Not a dime.
What were the terms of payment to be?
Well, like I said, she was going to be going to school, so her first student check would have came to her in September. She was going to give me $2,000 in September, and that was it. Just paid off in full. Right. The reason that I had written that so cheap was because if you can't afford to put gas in your car, you can't afford to do anything, how are you going to register or anything
Why do you think I would have bought a car from you if I couldn't afford it?
If you bought a car, I wouldn't be sitting here asking you for money.
Right, because...
All right. So you tell me about the agreement and what has happened.
The agreement was she at the time when it happened was quote unquote going to California to be a model. And so she didn't have her daughter.
For high times?
Yeah, probably. That's probably what it was.
I see you got weed tattoos. Yeah. You got weed tattoos and
palm trees.
Oh, that's a palm tree. All right.
It don't say Kush.
High Times is the weed magazine. Go ahead. Isn't that there? High Times? They still publish that?
I'm apparently the pro.
All the weed heads out there saying, yeah. So she was going to model.
Yeah, well, she didn't have her daughter. I'm more of a mom to her daughter than she is. But anyways, they made an agreement, a written agreement, that the child support that he was paying she would pay it back to him. Well, after the car incident, they made a verbal agreement. Instead of her paying him back the money, that it would go towards the car. The child support was supposed to be returned to my boyfriend.
Okay, let's just get that out of the way. You can't make a side agreement regarding child support. Anything regarding the amount of child support to be paid comes from child support services. That's why the law doesn't allow parents to cut deals on the side for their kids. May be the case that they're being manipulated by this man. He come over and make you feel good. And he say, now can I just give you $50 a month? Oh yeah, $50 is fine. Will you sign this for me saying it's $50? Oh, yeah. Well, you don't really have to give me nothing. I don't. Well, just put $1 so it'll say I'm giving you something. And then when she go to sue for the child support, he pulls out this agreement. Yana, she said $1 a month. Well, Yana, I only said that because he was making me feel good that night. She said it, Yana, however she said it. That's why the courts don't allow that. So all you guys and ladies who think you're doing something when you say, I don't want to go through the court. I don't want to put the government in my business. Don't put me on child support. All right? You're tricking yourselves. Because when you do go to court, none of that's going to matter, this little side deal. So you can't make a side deal. I'm going to make you adhere to the contract. $1,000 is your judgment, not the $2,000 you want, but the $1,000 pursuant to this. I can't enforce anything other than what I see.
Right.
All right? $1,000 for the plaintiff. Have a good day.
I had no reason to ever like her. Clearly, she's going to sit here and say that my child is more hers than mine.
I didn't
Why
say
would I
that
give you a free car? Why would my child support go to any sort of car?
You made that agreement.
Why would I make that agreement?
Okay, I don't know.
It's child support. It's not enforceable. Do you know anything about the law? Obviously not.
Why did you make that agreement? Is that any business?
Plaintiff Mona Lisa Monaghan says the defendant is her oldest son, and they have always been very close. Mona Lisa claims she agreed to sell the defendant a car, but he failed to pay her, so she's suing. Defendant Chris Monaghan says his recollection of his childhood is much different from his mother's. Chris claims after he took possession of the car, it needed more repairs than he anticipated. So that's where his money went.
Start with you.
Well, my name is Mona Lisa Monaghan. Christopher is my baby. We have a very close relationship. He's very responsible.
Baby as in the youngest?
No, he's my baby. He's the oldest. That's always going to be my baby.
How about the other ones?
He's 9 years old. I have 2 boys.
They're not your babies?
Yes.
When do they stop being a baby?
They never do.
Okay, good enough.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why you got to sue him, because you're not letting him be a responsible man. You're still treating him like a baby.
Well,
go ahead. You want to treat him like a baby? Good. You got any more room? Go ahead.
He's very responsible. Graduated,
is he?
works,
Let's
and keeps
go
a
then.
good
Why
job.
are you here? He's very responsible. You say very responsible.
Yes.
All right, well, why are we here? You just told me everything. You said he's very responsible. That means clearly he couldn't have done anything to owe you money.
Well, I don't know now.
Okay.
You might as well hit the gavel.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're a great man. This case is yours already. Go ahead.
He works, keeps a good job. I'm very proud of the man and the father that he is today.
Good.
Growing up, he was a great kid. There is one incident I can recall. When at the age of 14, he and his best friend got caught stealing candy out of a store. I never understood that because Chris has kind of always had the red carpet rolled out for him, which is why we're here today, because it seems like the red carpet has come back and rolled over me, and that's why we're here today.
You just contradicted yourself immediately. Go ahead. Let me hear from you.
Well, me and my mom, we always had a off and on relationship when I got older. You know, she was going through a couple issues, which...
Now, she didn't say that. She said you all had a great relationship.
Yes, we do.
And there was only one issue in the relationship, and that's doing what all little kids do, steal candy.
She leaving out a lot.
Go ahead.
Lord.
You know, she was going through issues. I'm not just going to put it out there, but, you know, it landed me in foster care for probably like a year and a half when I was like 6. And... you know, I just started doing kid stuff, stealing, being rebellious.
When did the red carpet come out in foster care? Did they have it in foster care?
I'm not understanding that.
He's never been to foster care, ma'am?
No, he's been with his dad and I. We split, raised him. I had him for half. His dad had him for half.
No. Is that true, or did you go and live with folks outside of your mother and father?
No, he never
Yes,
had.
Ma'am, I'm talking to him.
Yes, I have.
How long?
It was about a good year and a half.
And that's not true?
No, it's
He's
not.
making this up.
I lived with multiple families at the time. I was moving around all around different foster care families.
Okay, so you didn't stay with one family for 1.5 years?
No.
How many families did you stay with within 1.5 years?
At least 3.
And what was the longest you stayed at one?
I was like 6 at the time.
Okay.
I don't remember that.
All right, got it. You were 6 years old. All right, this is very odd.
Very.
That you would say you were there a year and a half.
All right.
And
my father did.
She said everything was great with the relationship. She says you had the red carpet rolled out to you all your life.
I wish.
And then you say you had a off and on relationship and that you were in foster care, the very opposite of the red carpet. He's making all this up, huh?
Christopher's had everything.
Why do you think he's making this up?
I'm not really for sure.
You asking?
Christopher, can you give me an explanation, please? I'm not understanding.
No, say, why are you making this up?
Christopher, why are you making this up?
I'm not.
I need an explanation, and I can't see where you're going with this. This doesn't make sense. All of this over you being irresponsible. So you went there with that. I didn't know because this. But anyway, I have whatchamacallit right here.
All right.
Evidence
Well, I'm
right
just
here.
leaving that alone. I'll just have two very, very different recollections of life. You think he had the red carpet and he's very, very responsible.
Yeah.
Yet he owes you money. And secondly, he said it hadn't been a red carpet. He lived in foster care for a year and a half. All right. So tell me about the money.
Well, we had a verbal agreement. I sold him a car July in 2018 for $800, and he was supposed to have paid me back by the end of September. And he hasn't did that.
All right, sir. She said you haven't paid for the car that she gave you or sold to you in July of 18.
Yeah, that's because I had to put a lot of work in the car to keep it up and running. Like the check engine light is still on. When I first got the car, it needed a new battery. I told her I'll put the battery in there, which we did. Then I drove it all the way back to Marion, Indiana. That's where I moved to. Then next thing I know, the engine light's blinking.
How long after purchasing it did the engine light start blinking?
At least 2 days after I got back.
So what'd you do?
Well, I took it to my friend. He's a mechanic, but he's not like not a
What
real.
did he say was wrong?
It was some wirings inside of the engine that I just had to buy and he installed.
How much did that cost?
They rounded up to about, the wires were at least $20 and I paid him like $30 for.
Okay, so $50
Yes.
for wires to the for the engine light to go off. And what else did you have to repair?
Then I had to get some parts to replace the head gasket.
You have a receipt for those?
No, sir.
How much was it?
Let's see.
You don't even remember how much you paid, huh?
No, this was a while ago.
How long ago?
This was like a month ago or so.
Right. You don't remember?
It came out to at least.
You don't remember how much you paid to have an engine repaired 1 month ago. Yet you remembered the $50.
Engine parts are expensive.
You can play games, you can skinny grin, but you're no match for me. What do you want to tell me in addition to that? Anything else? Because his testimony has been inconsistent and unbelievable and unreliable. So I'm going to grant your judgment.
Your Honor.
Because wait,
please,
nothing.
Please.
Have a good judgment for the plaintiff.
Thank you so much.
Get your memory together.
Love you, Chris. Well, we're going to keep on loving each other and having a red carpet. And yes, ma'am, we're going to keep loving each other.
Yeah, it's all love, no hard feelings. Just get it. Just glad that it's done and over with, pretty much.
Plaintiff Joanne Doyle says the defendant is nothing but a career criminal and 3-time felon who thinks he's a celebrity. Joanne says she loaned some of her jewelry to the defendant so he could get it photographed on celebrities, but instead he stole it, so she's suing. Defendant David Roth insists he is not a convicted felon and says he tried to return Joanne's jewelry, but she only wanted his money. He's countersuing because he claims Joanne created a website about him which defamed and slandered his name.
Before we begin, I want to recognize the cast of a great play that's going around the country. My Brother Marvin is the Marvin Gaye story from his sister's perspective. Great play.
Awesome.
And a few of the cast are here. Tondi Gallant, raise your hand, say hi. To the left of her, Latrice Turner, raise your hand. Leah, raise your hand. One of the great stars, does a great job, all of them do. Pat Turner, my friend of many years. She's the costume designer and overall organizer of everything.
Oh, great.
And I have a few other friends didn't show up, therefore they're not going to get promoted today. Keith Washington, a Grammy-nominated singer and actor. He didn't show up. Always asking me for a television show. Tell him it was his moment here. This television show I gave him. All right. Start with you.
Well, Your Honor, I want everybody to look at this man and run the opposite direction. I've brought him here today to expose him for exactly what he is. A career criminal, a 3-time felon, and a liar and a thief. He's stolen credit cards from people, charged hotel rooms and trashed them. He's stolen jewelry from other designers. He has created events and not from Miami. From Facebook. He contacted me on Facebook.
Okay, you all weren't friends? You didn't have a previous friendship or anything?
No.
Okay, he contacted you on Facebook for what purpose?
To get my jewelry. He said that he was a publicist.
What's your profession?
I'm a jewelry artist and wardrobe designer and creative director now.
And he's a publicist and wanted your jewelry for what reason?
He says he's a publicist.
What is this, to dress some movie stars for events or something?
Yes.
Okay.
He's promised endorsements out the wazoo.
Because I don't think most people know what you're talking about.
Right.
And what it involves is these stars that you see on the red carpet for some of these big events. And some of the rappers, I understand, that have all this jewelry, it's not theirs. They get it on loan from jewelers who want to promote their jewelry. They say you can wear it to this event, and so that when you're on the red carpet, viewers will see it, but bring it back the next day or 2 days later. Oh yeah, that's a big deal in the industry. So you all young people out here trying to do whatever you can to get jewelry like these young rappers, it's not even theirs.
That's for sure.
Tell me what happened.
I brought him here today to tell him this is as close, he thinks he's a celebrity. This is as close to fame as he's going to get, a 3-time felon as defendant in court TV. Baby, your 15 minutes of fame are almost up.
Let me allow him to give some background and then we'll get into the specifics.
Okay.
First off, Your Honor, I was never convicted as a felon, for the record. Just so you know, never stole any credit cards. I'm the victim. In all due respect to Ms. Doyle, she created a website about me prior to me even going to court, defaming me, slandering me, and talking a lot of crap about me, lying about me, all right? I work with a lot of high-end athletes.
Oh, that's
the Miami
not
Heat
true.
players, I'm with all those guys. And you can go on, you can look me up online. The only defamation is what she wrote about me.
Dwayne Wade.
Just follow this
Do all this
I'm
big
actually on
talk.
the
I can talk big with you too if that's what you want to do. So, did you reach out to her on behalf of some clients to utilize her jewelry?
She reached out to me on Facebook.
That is
It was
correct.
So let me allow her to begin with the details then.
He contacted me on Facebook. He says, I know that you're having a rough time. I know that you have a little boy that's ill also. We both have a rare disease that makes it really difficult to get things going. It's taken a long process to get this far. He promised endorsements, which are here.
Let's see it, please.
He also, in this...
If you have some men's jewelry line, I can get you sports celebrities. So if you have any samples to show, let me know. I will be at the Ball Harbor tomorrow. Go ahead.
And it goes on and on and on, all the different things that he promised that he never came through on. He basically took the jewelry and wore it himself and used it as his own property.
What was the agreement?
The agreement is here that he signed. The agreement that he took 11 pieces. He was to get it photographed on celebrities, take it right back off, and put it back into a safe area, keep it retail ready. He was to keep the pieces from November 5th to December 5th. At that time, if he did not return the jewelry December 5th, that he would owe the full amount of $6,211. Here's the contract that he signed.
So what did happen?
He never returned the jewelry. I had to go after him over and over and over again. Here's the proof of that.
Let's see it, please.
Here's also the proof of him saying that he understood that he was going to take off the jewelry and put it right back.
What do you want to tell me about this?
About what she's saying right now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, when I got the jewelry, I was supposed to return it on December 6, 2011. Okay? I got ill because I have a bad heart. I lost contact with her. A few months went by. On May 1st, I got a call from an officer in Fort Lauderdale. He said to return the jewelry to Miss Doyle. I said I couldn't do it to the end of the month because I was out of town. Which at that point, Mr. Frank Perez here,
Did you tell him how big you were?
No.
I'm calling you like that.
But I had Mr.
Talk to him like you talk to me. Sir, officer, I'm big, super big, real big. I got sports celebrities on hold right now. I gotta go. I'll talk to you later. Talk to my lawyer. Talk to me about this nonsense. Too big for that. You ain't tell him that? Go ahead.
In the middle of May, he was going to return it at the end of May. And then she said she didn't want the jewelry anymore. She wanted the money.
No.
Okay,
No.
good enough. So, tell me ultimately what happened here.
Okay, I filed the police report. The police were going back and forth between the two of them. He was supposed to return the jewelry May 6th or the money, either one, and he did not.
And so
the
what
police
happened?
were very upset. They turned the case over to the prosecutor's office, and the prosecutor filed, and he was convicted of a felony, of which he just told you that he was not.
Withhold of adjudication, Your Honor, not a convicted felony. What did he say?
He's convicted for 18.
Withhold of adjudication, it means he pled guilty.
Uh-huh.
Why don't you think you should pay, sir? You pled guilty.
I paid, restitution is $1,295 of the jewelry she didn't get back. So I am paying that. Why should I have to pay twice? She got her jewelry back, about $5,000 worth.
Because if there's a shortage, he's entitled to the difference between the restitution and the value of the jewelry, because she will have suffered a loss. You are to compensate her for any loss she suffers. So if the judge in the criminal case only provides a certain amount of restitution, you can go to small claims court, as she has, and sue for the difference. What do you have demonstrating the difference between the restitution and the value of the jewelry? What evidence do you have?
Our contract.
All right, and he said, I will pay the amount in full of $62.11. All right, subtract $12.95 from that.
$49.16.
All right, sir, your counterclaim is for what?
$5,000.
For what?
Defamation of character.
How so?
I'll show you right here. She created a website for me.
Here it is.
Talking about me.
What part do you consider defaming?
Defaming when she calls me a thief, a liar, and a scam artist.
You've been convicted, right? You're all of that. Have a good day. Judgment for the plaintiff.
I want to actually apologize to her if I caused her any problems. I hope that she moves on. And actually, it's a relief off my chest that I came here and cleared my soul.
I'm just happy it's over with and that we can go on, and got about 3 minutes more of fame there, David. Use it out.
Plaintiff Frank Williams has a 12-year-old daughter with the defendant's ex-wife, who was with Frank in court today. Frank claims the defendant is a dangerously jealous man with a history of going to jail. And Frank's suing because he claims the defendant had him falsely arrested for battery. Defendant Leonardo Minter insists Frank stabbed him, and that is why he had him arrested. Leonardo is determined to prove that he's telling the truth, so he petitioned the court for a lie detector test, and he's countersuing for emotional distress.
Start with you.
Your Honor, it's a pleasure to be back on your show again. I was on the show once before, suing a man for defamation of character. I'm suing this man for $5,000 for attorney fees when he had me falsely arrested for aggravated battery with intent to do great bodily harm, aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, charges for which I was acquitted for at trial. I have the receipt here for my attorney fees. Your Honor, this man has a history of going to prison repeatedly and jail back to back to back. He also has a history of being a dangerously jealous man. Each time that he's released from prison, he goes on jealous rampages, chasing everybody away from around his ex-wife. But he couldn't chase me away because I have a 12-year-old daughter with his ex-wife. So each time he get out, he would accuse me and her of having relations because I wouldn't back down from it.
Before you get to the specific incident, let me hear from you.
I know Mr. Williams because of my ex-wife, which is sitting there as his witness now. Okay, Your Honor, I've been going through so much emotional pain and suffering with this man, even before this man cut me. I don't know what games him and my ex-wife, then girlfriend, was playing, but there's so much going on with this case, Your Honor, and I'm going to prove that this man is a liar and that this man did, because I petitioned the court to take a lie detector test to prove to you I'm not lying about anything that I say in this court today.
Have you come running after him whenever you got out of jail about your ex-wife?
No, Your Honor. First, when I went to jail, when I went to prison, it was all because of driving on revoke from a DUI in 2001, Your Honor.
Okay, and hadn't been any violent crimes?
No, sir. No, Your Honor.
All right, good.
On the contrary, this man, Mr. Williams, had pulled a gun on me.
About what?
He came over one day saying he wants to see his stepdaughter. He doesn't have a biological daughter, but he met her when she was 1 year old. Okay. He came over one day saying he wants to see his stepdaughter. I allowed that because when we were going together, I allowed that because he knew her when she was one, so that was it. But later and later, he would come over later and later, you know, and
at night.
At night, and Your Honor.
But you would be there.
But I would be there, and Your Honor, we had an argument, and he said, "Wait right here, I'll be back." Your Honor, the man came back in his van, pulled out a gun, just waving it, just all kinds of violent words or whatever. She had to stop him, had to actually grab him and put him in his car, in his van, okay? That went over, so we broke up for a while, okay? We ended up getting married. I knew I was going back to jail because I got stopped again for driving on revoke. Her daughter informed me that Mr. Williams has been spending the night.
While you were in jail?
While I was in jail.
When you come home, she said, while you were going to jail, Mr. Williams was spending the night.
She calls him her dad. After that, we got into a argument about that, and I violated my probation by driving again.
Let me get to the attorney fees you're suing him for. How does he owe you for attorney fees? What happened? Obviously, there was an incident.
On December of 2010, Christmas Eve, When I went to my daughter's mother's house to take her last-minute Christmas gifts on Christmas Eve, this man had just been recently released from prison. He overheard my conversation on the phone with my daughter, so he knew what time I would be arriving. When I arrived at the house, he hid and peeped from behind the Christmas tree, watched me unload the gifts from the trunk of my car. He waited till I got close up to the door. The Christmas tree is in the window by the door. Then he leaped out from behind the Christmas tree with the toy BB gun. That he didn't know that I had bought the toy BB gun for a child in the house for Christmas. He started accusing me of what me and his wife was doing while he was in prison.
With the toy BB gun pointed at us.
He didn't know that I knew it was a toy. So when he couldn't put no fear in me, then he pulled out a real knife, which he held like this. I just threw the gifts in his face and grabbed the arm with the knife and threw him down in the snow. He hadn't shoved the snow. Threw him down in the snow. Soon as he hit the snow, it turned red. He probably had cut himself on the way. He jumped right up, ran in the house, and this is how he had me falsely arrested. He told the police that I had come to his house to see his wife, cut him while he was standing on his porch for no reason at all, beat him with the pistol, and drove away. So at trial, he and all his witnesses and his testimony and everybody else there testified that he ran outside as the aggressor, and I was acquitted at trial. But he didn't stop there, Your Honor. The day that I was acquitted at trial, he waited outside of the courthouse, jumped from between the Christmas trees out there, and I have the police report to show you. I have the police report. Jumped from between the Christmas trees there and tried to...
So he only gets you at Christmas time?
No, it wasn't Christmas time. This was summer. They got two big Christmas trees. Okay. He jumped from behind there. I have the police report.
All right, give me what you want.
And he didn't stop there, Your Honor. The next Christmas, he called me on the phone and say, what are we going to do this Christmas?
Christmas time again.
Yeah, right. He called me to say, what are we going to do this Christmas? And so when that Christmas came around, he called me and said, what are we going to do this Christmas? I said, well, I don't know what you want to do this Christmas. But I called the police. I have the police report here. Then,
see it, please.
Come summer again, he called and tried to threaten me again. This time, they made him serve 74 days in the county jail for threatening me.
Really?
Yes, they did.
Sir, did you serve time for threatening him?
No, sir, Your Honor. I was in jail for driving on revolt.
I know that's what you've been telling me.
And I have the information here on 3 occasions when he wasn't.
Now the attorney fees are for all these things.
No,
or
my attorney fees is $5,000.
For what exactly? Let me see it, please.
For the case of aggravated battery, of which I was found not guilty for.
Sir, you tell me about this fight.
Yes, sir.
In the assault.
It was a fight on his half. I didn't get a chance to swing or do anything. Your Honor, I'll have pictures to show what this man has done to me.
What did he do to you?
He cut me, he sliced me in my face, and ran off.
Who had the knife? He brought the knife to the scene?
He brought the knife with him.
So he cut you with the knife?
He cut me with the knife.
When the police came, what happened then?
When the police came, I dialed 911 first, Your Honor. Called for 911.
That's usually what you have to do. When the police came, what happened?
They asked witnesses. They asked if anybody's seen anything. They asked me what happened. I told them Frank came here and cut me with a knife.
And they arrested him and prosecuted him. Did they arrest you at all?
No, sir.
Okay. Then you went to court and he was acquitted. Why do you think he was acquitted?
Because he had wrote a statement, Your Honor, and had my ex-wife now sign it. Okay.
Saying what?
Saying that I could have went into the kitchen and got a knife. That's why he was reasonable doubt.
That's reasonable doubt. That's what I was about to say.
Acquitted.
Yeah, you can get acquitted. That's how you get acquitted, sir. In criminal court, you must be convicted beyond a reasonable doubt.
Exactly.
Ooh, Your Honor, I have
this is your face? How do you say this happened, sir?
Exactly the way I say it happened in trial.
He fell on it.
Grabbed his arm and threw him down. With that, he's standing there holding the knife like this. I grabbed him and threw him straight down into the snow. That's how he got cut. He called the police, said, I did it. I have the judge's ruling here.
Let me see the judge's ruling.
Exactly. And I have my attorney's closing argument, where each one, after listening to all the evidence, they determined that this man was the aggressor.
What's your emotional distress for, sir?
My emotional distress, Your Honor, I was in surgery for 6 hours, Your Honor. I have a scar on my face from my eye to my nose. The man severed, if you can look in the picture, Your Honor, the man tried to sever my nose. 2 inches lower, the man would have cut me and I'd have died, Your Honor. This man has caused me so much pain. I don't care about him taking my wife. That's nothing, Your Honor. What the boils down to is the pain and the anguish of this man in my face, in my business, asking my wife to fix him some chitlins, Your Honor. Your Honor, this man has his own life. He has his own. Why ask my wife to fix? And I cussed him out on the phone, Your Honor. I told the man, I said, man, you're not getting nothing from him. This man not only.
You know, it's amusing that he's saying that his wife, they got into all of this because the man asked his wife to cook him some chitlins. That's amusing,
Do you
but
know
the
how
man
hard
suffered
it is?
a pretty.
Chitlins takes time.
I'm trying to get you away from that. I'm trying not to laugh at you, man, because you had a serious injury, but you just won't take the gift. Do you know how long? No, I don't know how long it takes to cook chitlins, sir.
Yeah,
I got that. Listen, sir, you said you took a lie detector test,
yes,
and you
sir.
were all right. Do you have the test? Even though I can't rely on that for accuracy, I am going to read it, but I'm not going to rely on that, sir.
Yeah, okay, Your Honor, can I say one thing?
Yes, sir.
I got a police report here on the case. When Dog gets back, Your Honor, this man says.
Let me see it, please.
That I was in the house and I hid behind trees. That's all funny and everything, but this is dead serious, Your Honor. This man comes from 2 towns with a knife in his pocket and cuts me in my face, Your Honor.
This is the lie detector results. When asked if you threatened Frank with a knife during Christmas 2010, you answered no. The lie detector determined you were telling the truth. When asked if you threatened Frank Williams with any kind of weapon during Christmas 2010, you answered no. The lie detector test determined you were telling the truth. When asked whether he was telling your wife to cook chitlins for him, no, it doesn't say that. But I thought I'd read that. If that makes you feel better, that's fine. But I will read what your judge said. And the only way you can receive compensation for being falsely arrested is if it is determined that he did not have probable cause to report the crime. And I'm reading what your judge said. And the state must prove all the elements of the defense beyond a reasonable doubt, like I said. Here, there's certainly probable cause.
I got you.
Judge said it was probable cause.
I got you, I understand.
Judge said he believes certainly. Says certainly. There's certainly probable cause. Your emotional distress, he did cut your face. I don't believe that story about this man falling down, cutting his face like that. This man been slashing his face. You slashed that man in his face. When you fall, you don't fall and slash. When you fall, it goes in. That's not what happened. This man's face was slashed. $5,000 for the counterpayment for his face. Have a good day.
God is good, and God will tell the truth. The truth will be shown.
Plaintiff Rosalind Lewis knows the defendant because their children went to school together, and she hired Rosalind to cater her wedding. However, she's suing for breach of contract and emotional distress because the defendant refuses to pay for her services. Defendant LaKenya Kelson admits that Rosalind can cook, and that's why she hired her to cater the wedding. However, LaKenya claims Rosalind did not keep up her end of the bargain, so she's countersuing for the cost of food and emotional distress.
Start with you.
I've met LaKenya about 10 years ago. Our daughters they went to 6th grade together. So they used to come over sometimes and after school with the girls, and I'll be cooking, they'll be eating. They just, they knew I can pretty much cook very good. So LaKenya knew
she couldn't cook?
I'm not sure, but I know that I can. So her kids.
You can't cook?
Oh, I'm from Mobile, Alabama. I can cook. What it was is my kids went over to her house to cook because she cooked in bulks. So.
You cook in small portions?
Yeah, basically, yes.
Finger food. Finger food.
There you go. There you go.
It wasn't more than finger food, ma'am. It wasn't more than fish sticks. All right, and chicken nuggets.
Wow.
But no, as long as they were healthy foods, small portions are better and more healthy for people.
Yes,
so,
it is.
Yeah, as long as there was quality food.
They're good and healthy, all four of my daughters.
Good, and you look healthy. And,
I am, thank you.
Go ahead.
Well, I've even made dishes for her back in the day. Made her some gumbo once, and she loved it.
Okay.
And anyway, back in April, she reached out to my daughter through social media, and she wanted me to cater her wedding party of 200. So I was like, sure. I was honored to actually do that. And I agreed, and the agreement was for her to purchase the food. Her and her husband prepared the meat. I prepared 6 dishes, side dishes, and we had an agreement.
6?
She was to buy the food.
She was to buy the food. I was going to prepare.
All you had to do was do 6 sides. You didn't do anything else?
Husband,
that was your only role?
Yes. Well, no, I had to serve the food.
Okay.
Drive the food to the venue, and her and her husband cooked the meat.
Okay.
So
what were you to be paid?
I had charged her $475.
Okay.
Because I know her.
And the food, did you all estimate, or did you have a particular goal in mind in terms of the amount to be spent on food?
Well, I did. I just sent her the quantities to buy to feed the party.
All right. Good enough.
Let
me hear from you, ma'am.
Okay. Like she said, my daughter and her daughter have been friends for years. Rosalind can cook, no doubt about it. The woman can cook. I wanted her food. I was having a problem having, because I wanted a buffet for my wedding. And every caterer that I was talking to, everybody wanted to do plate, and I wanted to do buffet. So my daughter said, hey, Mom, Rosalind's back in town. Call her up. Let's see what she can do. I talked to Rosalind. She can cook the food. She told me everything she wanted to make. I mean, she gave me like a breakdown of how much everything was, what to get, seasonings, everything. I bought everything, catering, heaters, everything, okay?
Was she supposed to bring you?
Everything?
She said everything. Okay. Was she supposed to bring those things?
No, I offered to me and my husband, offered to buy all of that.
You're emphasizing it as if you
because
did
you have to
something special.
you have to use the stuff in order to, you know, like the heaters.
Everything implies that you went beyond your call of duty.
I did.
Well, you didn't if your agreement had nothing to do with those things.
Well,
you didn't go beyond your duty at all.
Sir, she didn't have a vehicle.
Don't talk over me.
I'm sorry.
The only agreement, now you tell me whether the agreement was different. The only thing she was to do is prepare and serve 6 sides. That's all she said she was supposed to do. So what is it you did?
She was actually,
She was actually
what she was supposed to do is only serve the meat. That's all I wanted her. I wanted my guests to serve their.
She didn't have to prepare the 6 sides.
No, that's the only thing I wanted her to do was serve the meat. Serve the meat.
Okay.
Get it there.
Her duty was only to serve the meat. So what did you do to go beyond the duty?
I gave her the transportation to get the food there, and we cleaned up after they left.
But cleaning up wasn't part of it.
Yeah, cleaning up was a part of the deal.
You just said all she was to do to serve the meat.
No, she was just to serve the meat, and then she was supposed to clean up after.
Clean the entire venue?
No, just clean the prep kitchen and whatever food that she served. And none of that was
clean
done.
the kitchen.
Exactly.
All right. Let me hear from you. What was the agreement? She says you weren't to serve any sides or prepare sides. She said all you were to do was serve the meat, not even prepare the meat. Even though you're a great cook, sounds like she didn't want you to cook anything. Even though you are the great cook and she admits you're a great cook, she didn't want you to cook. All she wanted you to do.
I wanted her to cook.
You told me all you want. Be quiet.
I'm sorry.
You told me all you wanted her to do was serve the meat.
Okay. Well, well, I'm gonna let her finish.
No,
Then
you tell me why you're saying something different now.
Like, I wanted her to do the sides, and I wanted her to cook the food, but...
That's not what you said. You said, I only wanted her to serve the meat.
No, sir.
Have a good day. Judgment for the plaintiff. Have a good day, ma'am.
I just wanted to say that I put my heart and soul into
why didn't you
making
heat the
her
food
dream
up?
come
Why didn't
true.
you heat the food up? And where's my cake? Where's my cake? Where's my cake?
I wasn't responsible for the cake.
The
Your
whole
wedding
kitchen,
party was.
No.
And I have a paper actually stating that we cleaned.
You threw the food away.
No.
And the food was cold. And we went to McDonald's. We went to McDonald's at the end of the night
food
because
to my house
me and my husband didn't have anything to eat.